Yo, what is good, everyone? How are you? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Now's the Time with Brother Brandon. We are here, live in the flesh. I was thinking maybe if I turn this a little bit, maybe it might sound a little bit better. We'll see. Only time will tell. But man, thank you guys so much. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe. We're out here doing the podcast. We're trying to get to 10 episodes. We're really trying to make it cool, make it fun for you guys to listen. We're so stoked that you're here. We're so stoked to talk about music. Just get after it. Just wake up. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning over here. We're watching some Ableton streaming. We're chatting with the homies on Discord. Shout out to the Discord. If you aren't in the Discord, check it out. Links in the bio. And if not, it's on the community page. Check it out. What's new? Lots is new. It's been a very interesting weekend. We started out with releasing an album called The Overalls Tape. As you see, my overalls I got here pretty recently. I like them. I dyed them black. They were like a khaki color, and now they're this cool brownish black color. I think I might bleach them, give them a little like reverse tie-dye, little bleach black tie-dye. I think it'd be cool. We'll see. I'm still thinking about that. But yeah, we wanted to talk about the Overalls Tape. It's about 30 minutes long. I think it's 13 or 14 tracks. I made that this week. I heard a cool little tidbit from our man Kiefer, our colleague, our mentor, our homie, Kiefer Shackelford, the great keyboard player. And man, we love Kiefer so much. He's so beautiful. His stuff is so awesome. And he was talking about some author was saying this. I forget. I should look up the quote exactly because it's very inspiring. But essentially, you make a beat every day. You write a short story every day. At the end of that, you try to put these short stories into some kind of book or, I don't know the author terms, but a tinier story, a novel maybe, And then at the end of the year, you try to accumulate all 52 of these short stories or little mini novels into an actual book. And if you take that analogy into music, man, you'd make so many joints. You'd make 352 songs a year. You'd make 52 EPs a year. If you took the 4 best songs from each week and dropped those, that's 52. Or if you took the best song from each week and only dropped 1 song each week, man, like that would be a great little experiment. And then you took each 52 of those songs that you dropped or each EP and put those into an album at the end of the year. That would be a great album. That would be a great experiment. So think about that for those of you who are struggling. All it takes is 1 beat a day. 1 beat a day to keep the doctor away, as I always say. But man, you could be doing that right now. No need to wait. You guys could be making music all day, dude. So think about that. This isn't really on my list, but this is something to talk about, I guess, since we're talking about how to make music and how to make things. Sometimes, most of the time, I'll make like 10 to 20 songs a day. 20 at the most. I think maybe the most I've ever made is around 36, I think. And it seems like a lot, but let me explain. So basically, how do you make 36 songs in one day? How do you make 20 songs in one day? How do you make 4 songs in one day? I see people struggling to make 1 song a month. And dude, I've been there. It took me a long time to make 1 song a week. It took me a long time to make 1 song a day. It took me like 4 or 5 years of practicing making songs every day to get to the point where I could make, a song in 10 minutes and it actually be good. The other day I was in a beat battle and they said I had 2 hours. I made my beat in 13 minutes, and they said I won. So it's a lot of things accumulated there: confidence and just quality, and knowing your ideas, and trusting yourself, and not worrying about mistakes, and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, essentially how I make that many songs in a day is those things. But I would say I use time. Time is my greatest enemy and best friend as well. So for me, I'll make 4 songs and I'll take a break. I'll make 4 songs and I'll take a break. I'll take 4 songs and I'll take a break. So that's kind of the essence of it, is if you can sit there and make 4 songs in about an hour, get up, take a break, go walk around, take out the dog, Smoke a smoke, get a coffee, eat some breakfast, come back, rinse and repeat all day long, dude. You start it, and me personally, I don't know about you guys, but, the old lady's got a job and she wakes up real early. So it's like, man, I'm up by 6 o'clock in the morning, dude. I'm making beats by 7. And if I'm making beats by 7 and I'm making 4 beats an hour, and I'm going 7 to 7 or later, sometimes I'll make music till 2 in the morning. And I'm just making songs all day, dude. 4 songs every hour. I mean, you do the math. It's like, man, you're in there for 4 hours, you got 16 songs. You're in there for 8 hours, you got 28 songs. It's like, it's not that hard, but it is hard. You really have to get comfortable, and you really have to explore your ideas. And, I don't want to say every single one of those beats is good. But for me, I kind of have to get through the bad beats, because I'll kind of just sit there and just make the bad beats, like just make them. And I'm like, man, this sucks. And I'll try to spend forever trying to get them to sound good. But I don't think that's really the move, in my opinion, humbly speaking. But you do you. I've heard some people cook up and they come out and they make some fire, But maybe it takes them a minute to get the vision. But I'm one of those cats where if I don't got it in like 10 minutes, I'm moving on to the next idea. And that is what it is. And then also within that process, I'll say, so I'm making a lot of these songs like pretty quickly, and I try to get the essence, I try to get the idea, try to get the form, I try to get everything about the song in like under an hour, like, at least like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. And if it's not there in that time, I just move on. And then after that, at the end of the week, maybe like, yesterday, this is what I did, was I took a day yesterday and I just went through all the beats I had that I liked, and it, came to about 12 or 13. I didn't really solve them, but, I got 12 or 13 of them together that I really liked. And then I went back through those and edited them. I went back through them and reviewed them. I went back through them and played some more instruments on them. I went back and deleted the drums and put new drums on there, So I won't say that I'm totally finishing and publishing 28 songs a day. That's not true. But I am making around 20 songs a day. And then beyond that, I sift through the BS, and then I try to build up the ones that I really like. That's my personal process of how I make so many songs. Not that really anyone asked, but we were talking about Kiefer making 365 songs a year. And I could totally understand how that's possible. It seems like a crazy number when you say it out loud. But I totally encourage that. That seems like a bare minimum to me. But anyways, we're going to keep going now. Enough talking about that. So be sure to check out the Overalls tape. That was kind of the process behind that. I heard that Kiefer bit, and I was like, man, I am going to try to release a record every week, even though I definitely do that. But maybe with some more intention of trying to accumulate these songs into some sort of album, maybe. Speaking of albums, I wanted to move on to the albums that we're working on right now. So we're working on that Snarky Puppy album still. We got all 4 of the songs done now. We got all the parts, all the players, all the songs, all the tracks. They're done. So shout out to that. I just need to mix them. I need to put them together. I need to go back, take a day, sift through them, see if I want to delete anything, see if I want to replay anything, see if I want to, edit anything or put some plugins on there. But we're in that stage. We're in the stage of, okay, now the stuff is done. Now let's go back and review. Let's mix it. Let's master it. Let's maybe add a couple of solos. Maybe we need one more horn player or something. It's just, we're in the very final stages of these 4 songs, which is really exciting. I've been working on this for so long, dude. Months and months, dude. I don't think I've ever worked on anything that long. Ever. But that's okay. And I think it shows in the music. It sounds like I took my time on it. It sounds, not rushed. It sounds professional. It sounds very detailed. It sounds, elegant. There's so many facets of the editing and the production and the, so many fine-tuned details in this stuff. I'm really excited to get this music out to you. I'm just really thinking about, like, for this specific album, I really want to promote it correctly. I don't want to just drop it into the abyss. I don't want to just whatever. I want to hype it up. I want to tell you guys about it. I want to promote it. I want to drop each one of them as singles, and then I want to release the whole album. And I'm probably going to do like 1 a month, just to really build the momentum. It's like get 30 days of hype for each song. And then, 34 months down the line from after I drop the first song, the whole album is going to be out. And I think that'll build a lot of hype, which I think will be really cool. And I want to try to make music videos for them. I want to try to get art done for them. I want each one of them to have, custom made art, not just some AI, whatever. And, really just try to take it seriously because, man, this is art. This is my job. This is my living. This is how, I make my money. And, man, if it don't sound good and it don't look cool, nobody's going to listen to it. Repeat after me. If it don't sound good and it don't look cool, nobody's going to listen to it. It doesn't matter anything else, honestly. I mean, that's step one. But, that Snarky Puppy album is close to the finish line. We got the Oregon Trio record, which that's another 4 songs recorded out in North Carolina. Took me forever to mix that stuff, probably 20 hours a song to mix. Very interesting recording session there. So it took a while to really get dialed in, and it was all live in one room. And if you know anything about that, it's just like, 1, 2, 3, go. Recorded a tape, mistakes and all, and bleed and blah blah, and figured out. You know what I mean? Just make it sound good. So yeah, those are really cool. Whenever I record records, I kind of take 2 approaches. I would say approach 1 is probably my normal, usual approach, is I just improvise and kind of like come up with the tunes in the moment. Maybe we'll sit and we'll talk about it for, a couple of minutes before the session, have a little like meeting or like write some stuff on the whiteboard, or maybe somebody has a couple of ideas they could throw around and we'll talk about that stuff. More like improv, more just kind of like in the moment, making the stuff in real time together. And personally, that's probably my preferred method. But for this Oregon Trio album, I had done that live album in Portland we were talking about in episode 1 with Machado Majiga and Paris Butler and Santiago Rocelli and Mike Gamble and Christian Ramirez and Machado Majiga, because we love Machado. I think I said his name twice, but that's all right. And we made that Portland album as kind of like free composition, improvised. We had some nuggets and a couple of tunes we worked out, but it was mainly off the cuff. So I thought that it would be cool coming from this improv session to spending maybe like a week or 2 trying to write some songs, bring some charts, bring some demos, like the complete opposite, and really trying to hone in these tunes with an image, with a melody, with a form, with solo sections written out, kind of the whole thing pre-composed before I even showed up to the session. And I gave the songs to the dudes and said, here's the tunes, so let's play them. And they killed that shit. It was super cool. So I'm stoked for that. So it's cool to have like 2 kind of contrasting ideas. Whereas, the Snarky Puppy album, I guess to go back to that for a minute, was the way that was made is I made all the samples. I wasn't even at home. I had my computer in New York City, and I just had my Ableton, and I just chopped some stuff up, and I just played it out on my literal laptop keyboard, and I sent that to them, and they sent me back the bass and the drums. So it's kind of like a telephone record, like I sent one track, they sent another track. Homie sent in another track, so it's kind of like Legos, like everything was being pieced together. Then we have this improv record, and then we have these like fine handwritten compositions. So there's quite a few different records going on right now, and some different processes that we're experimenting with. And then in recent stuff and in other development of my career, I've been asked to be doing these bluegrass gigs, and I've been playing bluegrass for a couple of years, which is cool. Shout out to bluegrass. It's definitely something I'm interested in the last couple of years, and country music and slide guitar and dobros and fiddles and mandolins and all that kind of stuff. Always really been into that stuff, but in more recent years, it's become a thing that I've been able to gig and perform and go to Nashville for, and Virginia and North Carolina, and like to play bluegrass and stuff. So I've been finally getting these bluegrass gigs. I have about 6. We're playing on Thursdays over at STEM. I haven't gotten that far on my calendar yet. I'm going to announce some gigs here in a second. But I'm going to start these bluegrass gigs. And, this podcast is about how to make money as a musician, how to, monetize your career and things like that. And, of course, me being me, I thought, oh, well, should probably record a bluegrass album, because if I'm going to have these bluegrass shows, I should sell my bluegrass album at my bluegrass shows. So I'm going to try to make a couple of bluegrass songs, so I have a little CD to sling at my bluegrass shows. And I think that would be cool too, because then I could probably try to get more bluegrass shows. It's like, that's pretty much all you really need to get a show, in my opinion, is maybe a good bio, a good video, which we could obtain from the show, and then a record, which we're going to make here. So if I have a record and a live video and I have some show experience, it's like, man, I got my own bluegrass project in the works. The grassroots are growing, my friends. It is a very bluegrass over here. So that's pretty cool. I'm stoked about that. Yeah, I'm still, I've been working on my Tony Rice, my 9-Pound Hammer. I've been listening to a lot of that Tone Poems album, dude. That was a beautiful album. David Grisman on mandolin and Tony Rice on guitar. Of course, Billy Strings. And, I really like Billy. Shout out to Billy. He's really doing a lot out there, really making it cool. And, I listen to his stuff and I'm like, man, I love this. I want to sound, and I would love to play some of those tunes, Dustin the Baggy. It's like, he's got some good songs, man. And, yeah, it's like, and then when I listen to some other shit, I'm like, man, this sounds lame, but, he's got it going on. I'm not sure what that is. I want to tap into that. Mad respect, my dude. Mad respect. So, yeah, check that out. That's probably going to take me a couple weeks. I got to learn some tunes. Gonna get some mando on there. Some guitar, probably some cello or fiddle. Maybe some dobro or some slide guitar. It'll be a very intimate record, but I'm really excited about that. So, thank you guys for staying tuned on this musical journey. It's a very wild time out here. We're doing lots of different things. And it's only podcast episode 3, so if you've just been paying attention for the last 3 episodes, there's quite a few things that go on here. Yeah, last weekend was interesting. I got my tour canceled in South Dakota, and that was pretty lame. And yeah, it's just very unexpected, and it was all about the numbers. Really, it's just like, dude, I can't come to South Dakota for $400. That's crazy. Like, I can't bring a band and pay for gas and pay for people's time and drive for 14 hours each way for $100, dude. That's crazy. So that just wasn't going to happen. They were just not offering the numbers that I needed to go, and that's all right, but yeah, don't ask for the day and then pull up on the numbers. That's pretty lame. So anyways, we had a pretty chill weekend. We had a couple of gigs, pretty low-key, our usual stuff. Went on a hike to a volcanic rock area. That was pretty cool. And then we had a little beat battle on Sunday. If you're not in the Discord, come join the Discord. Every Sunday, we have a beat battle at 7 p.m. $50 cash prize. We got some free sample packs. Winner gets a collab or a feature. Feel free to release your song that you make in the beat battle. The rules are, you must use the sample 45 minutes to make the beat, and you must post the beat at the end of the 45 minutes, no matter what. So, yeah, check that out. We do that every week. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to make some tunes for your albums. It's a good way to get better at making music in genres you're not comfortable with. It's a good way to meet people to collab with. It's a good way to check out some other genres of music. But yeah, I wanted to talk about my shows that are coming up. Because, yeah, we're here to promote ourselves and our business and our music and our friends. And here's our shows. August 23rd, we're playing at Toki. That's going to be a vibraphone show. We're going to have vibraphone, beats, guitar, drums, bass, the whole shebang. We're playing at the Wood Cellar in Evergreen, August 30th with the big band. That's going to be super cool. We're playing on the 31st of August at the Townhouse here in town. We love that place. Used to play there every Tuesday. Shout out. September 1st at the Farmhouse. September 3rd, we're doing a live recording in Portland again at the famous Blue Butler Recording Studio, one of the best studios in Portland. Shout out Paris, you're doing the Lord's work. September 4th, we're playing at Beer and Brats with a couple other bands. I know we got Jarrett doing some ambient guitar, and we're looking for another artist. But stay tuned for that. It's going to be really cool. Probably a 3-band bill. And then September 5th, I'm playing with Machado Majiga at this place called Mendelssohn's, like the composer, Mendelssohn's. September 5th, that's going to be like a classical avant-garde jazz kind of duo show that we're doing with the piano and the drum set in Portland, Oregon. It's going to be very cool. Check that out. And September 6th, we're back in Colorado at the Main Street Tavern. I forget where that is, but it's in Colorado. It's a couple hours away from here, but that's all right. It's going to be really cool. I'm really stoked for that show. Got quite a few gigs coming up over the next couple of days, couple weeks. A couple of in-town stuff, some tour stuff, some longer traveling gigs. So that's going to be really cool. I got some questions for the pod. the question I received and get asked often is, why are there so many genres? And honestly, I'm not really sure, because, I hear a lot of these younger cats especially, and man, they are just like talking about all this stuff I don't even understand. It's like, all these 12, 15-year-old kids and, in the high school, college area. And I'm only 30. I feel very disconnected. It's like they're talking about hyper pop, and they're talking about future bass, and they're talking about, all these kinds of genres I don't even know. And too, I feel like it's so specific. They're like, they change one frequency, and they're like, oh God, this is a horror kick, or like, now this is a sludge metal or whatever. It's just like they change one thing and it changes the whole genre. It's like, what about the music, man? Whatever happened to just, oh, I make music, Like, I don't think it has to have a genre. I don't think it has to have, some sort of like hyper metaphorical description for people to enjoy your music. I think you could just say, I make music. And if your music is good, why does it really matter that it's techno or hyper pop or experimental dubtronic or psych whatever, or you know what I mean? Like, dude, just show me some cool music. I don't really care what you call it. It doesn't got to be trap, underground, bebop, jazz, whatever, you know what I mean? It's just like, just show me your song, dude. Just play me your song. I don't need to know about future disco or whatever, and I think these are terms that are used to describe the music, so I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think that there needs to be so many sub-genres, and I don't think that people need to be caught up in all these sub-genres. It's like, you could stick to like just hip-hop, you could stick to just dance, it could be R&B, it could be rap, it could be jazz, it could be rock, but it's like, let's not add 17 words to the end of it, okay? If that's not a little soapbox preach of the day, but yeah, I think that's all right. But just don't get caught too much up in those genres. I don't think they really do a lot for you. I think in terms of labeling, like, hashtags, that's nice, but whatever. The next question we had, it was anonymous, but it was on my Instagram, and it's saying, hi, Monkey. We got our co-host, Monkey Dog. Hi, bud. You gonna be co-host? Monkey. What questions do you have for the pod, Mr. Monkey? Any questions, sir? Can you lay down? Lay down with Daddy? Lay down. Sit, stay, bud. Nice. We got Monkey. Monkey Dog Walk. All right, so the question is, how is it possible for new artists to tour during this time? And man, that is a loaded question. That is a loaded question. It is a very simple question. How is it possible for new artists to tour during this time? Man, you gotta have a lot of dough. You gotta have a lot of bread, some cheddar, dude. You gotta have a lot of time, and you gotta really be willing to rough it, dude. Like, the amount of tours I spent, driving 10 hours a day and sleeping in a Motel 6 and, catching the red eye and playing for 8 people. And, it's just like, man, that stuff is hard, man. I wish I had some better advice, but, what I would say what you need and how is even possible is you really need to have like a lot of things in place before you really try to just like jump ship. You need a good record. You need a couple of records. You need a bunch of shows, on your belt, on your resume. Because you need experience to really tour like that. I feel like, especially when you're touring, it's like, man, you want to be going out giving like the most fire show. You don't want to just be like slagging and tired and putting out some crap and some shit. Like you really want to be trying to like make it good, because you're out there advertising, you're out there selling your name, you're out there increasing your brand. You're doing so much. And man, it's like you really have to think about, like the logistics of it. It's like, you got to get enough money for your plane tickets. And let's talk about that for a second. Like, what would you need to buy your plane tickets like months early, dude? Like, and if you don't, it's going to be expensive. So you need to plan like months early and have your expenses ready, whether that's you have a job or you're taking your shows or you're selling your albums. But it's like, yeah, you need to like take that money, buy these plane tickets like 2 or 3 months in advance if you can, because then you're going to save a hell of money. And then same with your hotels, same with your rental cars, same with everything. Because the more last minute you wait on that stuff, it's just going to be more and more expensive. Like if you go to, I don't know, Phoenix, Arizona tonight, and you haven't, tried to book your plane ticket, it's going to be like $600. So you need to figure that out like pretty quick. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like, rental cars. You're lucky to get a rental car for 130 a day. 75 a day is crazy. And then you got to think about, okay, even if you stay in the shittiest hotel with bed bugs, you're still probably going to pay like 50 or 70 bucks. So times that by, being on tour for 20 days. It's like, dude, that's a lot of money. Like you got like $400 or $500 just for hotels. Not to mention the gas, not to mention the rental cars, not to mention the plane tickets to and from. And let's not forget about checking your bags, because if you're a touring band, you're probably going to have instruments, you're probably going to have guitars, you're probably going to have clothes, you're probably going to have amplifiers, you're probably going to have keyboards, you're probably, drum sets. Like, you're going to have to check all that stuff, and that costs money, and that, like bags cost money, overweight costs money. So it's like, man, you really got to like plan your details very, very well. And, allow for error, allow for a show to be canceled, allow for someone, to get sick, allow for, a flat tire, allow for a flight to get canceled. It's like, that's something I've been learning. It's like, you cannot be like, just, I'm not really sure the words, but like, you can't just be like flying by the seat of your pants. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to have this stuff planned out. And the more that you can have planned out, the better. So think about that. It's like, you really got to think about, your album fees. Like if you're going to be like, going out and touring, and then you're going to be doing this live album like we're doing, you're going to think about the price of the players. You got to think about the price of the studio. You got to think about the price of your time. You got to think about the food it's going to cost. You got to think about, your coffee break. You got to think about your smokes. You got to think about, what about lunch for everyone else? What about, you know what I mean? It's like, you got to think about this stuff. And, there's so much stuff that goes into making albums. There's so much stuff that goes into touring. There's so much stuff that goes into recording studios. There's so many fees and so many expenditures that you have to do, expenses, which really sucks. But man, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. And you got to pay for your players, you got to pay for your studio, you got to pay for your planes, you got to pay for your hotels, you got to pay for all this stuff. And that's really what it takes to be on tour. And that's really what it takes to make an album. That's really what it takes, for a new artist today to be in a position to like actually make some money, to actually start their career, to actually go on tour, to actually, do the dang thing, to do the thing, man. That's half the battle. So be sure you buy albums. Be sure you stream people's music. Be sure you like their video. Be sure you comment on their Instagram post. Be sure you call your friend and tell them, dude, great fucking album. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Like, I know that took thousands of dollars for you to make and 100 billion hours of your time just for me to listen to this one song. You know what I mean? Or just so that you could go on tour. Just so that way you could play this one show. Just so that way you could spend 22 hours in the car to go play in Nashville. You know what I mean? It's like, it means so much more than just an album or whatever. So think about that. Think about that. Whenever you're watching people's streams, whenever you're, watching a video, whenever you're whatever, go and click on that link. Go buy that album. Because that $5-10 that you're going to do, that's not going to do much for a hotel. That's not going to do much for, a plane ticket for a whole band. Like, so think about that. Buy people's albums. They need the support. Like, if you like music, you need to be buying people's records, because touring and all this other stuff is so hard for people now. It's like $5 goes a long way, a lot longer than you think. And with 870 whatever people following on here, if everyone bought my record for $5 that I just dropped yesterday, that would be like almost $5,000, dude. That would help me out a lot on a tour, So think about that. $5 for your friend's album. It's not that much money. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to talk a little guitar, and that'll be it. I'm not really sure what the time is. I didn't set the timer today. But that's okay. I feel like we're talking for a good amount of time. I feel like we've gone over a lot of stuff. We talked about the albums. We talked about the podcast. We talked about all of our gigs coming up. We answered a couple of questions. And now we're going to talk a little guitar. I thought I would talk about some slide guitar today, and specifically how, just kind of like the basics of the slide guitar, and maybe how I think about it. Because I'm not sure if I think about it in the same way everyone else does, but maybe it'll help you. So here's one thing I wanted to say, is in particular regards to this, there's probably two shapes that you need to know. And the first one being this minor shape. And that's just bar really anything, I guess. Like as long as you're barring the whole 7th fret or the whole 12th fret, like, this is B minor, this is E minor, this is A minor. And that's cool, like here's minor, and even more specifically beyond just like fat fingering the whole fret, right? Just like playing the whole fret, is if you play these bottom 3 strings, just G, B, and E, that's a minor triad right there. That's C, E, and A. I guess it's in first inversion. If you wanted to get really technical, G, B, and E, D, F sharp, and B. So the bottom 3 strings are minor triad. And then the middle, D, G, and B is a major. So that's a C, and this is a D, and this is a G. So you could think like, here's minor, here's major, major, minor, minor, major. So if you play D, G, and B, you're playing major. And if you play G, B, and E, you're playing minor triad. So think about that. Like, we're just gonna live there for today. I think maybe in further episodes we'll try to get a little bit further on this kind of stuff. But yeah, I want to just hammer in that, like, you could pretty much play any tune you wanted with just knowing the major and the minor chords. Okay, how? Why? There's 5 different kinds of chords, Brother Brandon. How could we play only 2? Well, okay, simply said, that major and minor are within all modes and scales. Like, major and minor exist within every single scale. So these 2 chords could be simplified in a way that could work for any kind of chord, like a dominant 7 chord. If we play C7, you could play here. You could play a B flat sus because it's triad pairs. I don't think we talked about that, but that could be in an episode. And you could play like different triads over the bass note. You could, if it's C7, you could even play F major. It would just make it a sus chord. But yeah, there's all these kinds of things that you can kind of like superimpose, like triads over triads with the slide. And let's say it's C augmented. Why wouldn't there's 2 options there. You could play, if it says C, you could always play C. And for an augmented chord, you could always play the chord a major 3rd away. I was gonna say a major 7. But it does in return become a major 7 augmented chord. So here's C in the bass with E triad. That's an augmented chord. Yeah, I don't know, maybe that's a little heady, but like even for augmented chords, you could still play a major bar chord. You just had to change the bass note. Even for a diminished chord, like you could play, if you play A minor and you put F sharp in the bass, it's a diminished. If you play A minor, put F sharp in the bass up an octave, it's still a diminished chord. You could move that in minor thirds. You know what I mean? Any diminished is symmetrical as well as augmented. So yeah, like really just only knowing major and minor, you could handle like any situation. You could read just about any kind of tune if you understand maybe the nuances between of like how you could use diminished or augmented. But for most pop songs, you're not even touching that stuff. So for 99% of music, you really only need to know like major and minor in its truest form. You don't even need to like superimpose these chords over each other. But yeah, or just play two notes, or just play one note, or just play, up here sometimes. Like, yeah, like I think the slide is interesting in that sense to where like you don't need to play like every single note. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of just like have the timbre play a couple of notes, and a lot of times it justifies the sound being in that space. Like you don't need 10 slide notes all the time. Sometimes 6 is cool, but any more than that is like a lot. So think about that. Major and minor is all you need, at least for right now. We'll get into more stuff later, but yeah, just a quick recap. G, B, and E, that's minor triad, and D, G, and B, that's major triad. D, G, and B is major, G, B, and E is minor. So major, minor, major, minor, major, minor. So think about that today. I think you guys will really like that. It's a really cool sound. If you want bonus points, write me a tune using the slide, only using major and minor chords. Post the link in the comments, I'll check it out. But yeah, winner gets a free album. So check that out. First impromptu podcast challenge there, the slide guitar challenge. So thank you guys so much. I think I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not really sure how many minutes I've been rambling for, but I hope you learned some stuff about the slide. I hope you buy some of your people's records. I hope you buy my records. I hope you check out the records I've been putting out. Hope you check out the record I put out this morning. Hope you check out the records that are coming out here in a couple of days. Hope to see y'all at a show here in Colorado or in Portland or wherever else I'm going. And man, thank you guys so much. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Episode 4 coming up next. Big love, y'all.